Hello, Immortal News family, and welcome back to our channel. In the last 24 hours, we have received the somber news of the passing of extraordinary talents, and today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Before we start, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Number 10. There's something about a scene that's just two people in a room. If you do it right, it can be more powerful than an explosion. James Foley lived by those words, crafting stories that didn't rely on spectacle but on truth, tension, and the power of human conversation. He passed away peacefully at the age of 71 after a quiet battle with brain cancer, spent mostly out of the spotlight he never chased. While his name may not have always led headlines, his work undoubtedly shaped decades of American filmmaking. Foley emerged onto the scene in the mid-1980s, launching his career with the teen drama Reckless. But it was his direction of Glengarry Glen that left a lasting mark. That film, driven by sharp dialogue and unforgettable performances, remains a landmark in cinema. Its raw portrayal of ambition and despair earned praise from critics and peers alike. Over 4 decades, Foley directed a variety of films, no two ever quite the same. From the tense intimacy of At Close Range to the noir elegance of After Dark, My Sweet and the stylized grit of Confidence. In his later years, he expanded his reach to mainstream audiences with the 50 Shades sequels, showing his ability to evolve with the times. He also stepped behind the camera for hit television series, including House of Cards and Billions, proving that his talents weren't bound by format. Colleagues often spoke of Foley's calm presence on set and his gift for understanding the unspoken. As one longtime collaborator once said, Jim didn't raise his voice, he just listened, and somehow always got exactly the scene he wanted. Born and raised in New York, he carried the thoughtful edge of a storyteller who valued people over flash. Even as technology and studios changed, Foley remained anchored in the craft. He wasn't driven by awards, but earned them along the way, from nods at international festivals to industry recognitions for his television work. James Foley leaves behind a legacy that speaks quietly but powerfully. His films continue to inspire emerging directors, screenwriters, and actors looking to capture the raw, honest core of a story. He'll be deeply missed and remembered each time a camera lingers just a moment longer, letting silence say everything. Tributes to James Foley. Number 9. Soft power is the ability to get what you want through attraction rather than coercion. Few ideas have reshaped global strategy with such lasting force, and few people have reshaped a field as profoundly as the man behind them. Joseph Nye passed away at 88, leaving behind a legacy that helped redefine how the world thinks about power, diplomacy, and leadership. He died peacefully, surrounded by family, following a brief illness. Widely known for his clarity of thought and deep civility, Nye changed the language of international relations with concepts that bridged theory and policy. With sharp intellect and uncommon grace, he challenged leaders to think not only about strength but also about influence. A scholar, teacher, and public servant, Nye spent most of his career at Harvard, where he taught for 6 decades and led the Kennedy School of Government through a time of tremendous growth. His best-selling books, including Soft Power and The Future of Power, reached readers far beyond academia and are still shaping foreign policy today. Colleague and co-author Robert Keohane once said, "Working with Joe meant thinking bigger and more carefully than you ever thought possible." Together they forged a new path in international political thought, co-developing one of the field's most impactful theories. But Joseph Nye didn't just write about power, he used it wisely. In government, he helped steer American foreign policy during pivotal moments, always grounding decisions in practical logic and steady ethics. His service during the Clinton administration earned him the highest civilian honors in intelligence and defense. At the heart of his long career was a belief that strong leadership is not about domination, but persuasion, that nations and people can lead through example, not fear. His quiet confidence and moral clarity inspired generations of students, diplomats, and scholars around the world. Nye's long list of honors, from Japan's Order of the Rising Sun to France's Palmes Académiques, only scratched the surface of what he gave, ideas that endure, lives he touched, and the wisdom he offered in every setting. He is survived by his wife, Molly, their 3 sons, and a world better for his presence. Tributes to Joseph Nye. Number 8. A true unicorn, smashing every 14-hour day with a wide smile and endless cheer for all. Those words from production manager Mike Magnuson capture the heart of Nathaniel "Nate" Pelier, his spirit, his warmth, and his incomparable presence on set. Nate passed away peacefully at his home in Langley, British Columbia, at the age of 53. His loss was sudden and heartbreaking for the many who loved and worked with him. Nate's journey with the beloved show, When Calls the Heart, began in 2022. Though often behind the scenes, his impact on screen was no less memorable. He not only maintained the show's cherished period vehicles, but also appeared in several episodes, steering wagons and vintage cars with quiet mastery. With 12 credited episodes in the transportation department and 4 subtle but unforgettable on-screen roles, Nate helped bring authenticity and charm to the series. But it wasn't just his craft that stood out, it was his energy. He was the kind of person who made rough days brighter. His laughter echoed behind the cameras and his helping hand was always extended. Actor Martin Cummins said it best, "The Valley will not be the same without Nathaniel Pelier. He was a gentle soul, and it was my honor to call him friend." Born in Toronto, Nate's love for vehicles, storytelling, and people connected him to a community that became like family. When Calls the Heart wasn't just a workplace, it became his second home. He often called his daughter Mercedes his greatest love, and spoke of the cast and crew as his second greatest. Fellow actors like Pascal Hutton and Johanna Newmarch shared heartfelt tributes, remembering him as someone who gave more than he ever asked for. His presence brought calm to chaos. His words made others feel seen. Though he is gone, Nate's legacy lives in every frame he helped create and every person he uplifted. His work, his kindness, and his joy left a lasting impression. To know Nate Pelier was to experience a rare kind of goodness. Tributes to Nathaniel "Nate" Pelier. Number 7. He was not only the heart of our festival but the heartbeat of Czech film for decades. These words from the Karlovy Vary International Film Festival capture the essence of Jiri Bartoska, a man whose presence, both on screen and behind the scenes, shaped an entire era of Czech culture. He passed away peacefully at the age of 78 after a long illness, leaving behind a legacy that stretches far beyond cinema. Jiri Bartoska was a pillar of Czech storytelling. For over 50 years, he portrayed rich, complex characters that audiences never forgot. From his powerful role in Sekal Has to Die to his moving performance in All My Loved Ones, he brought depth and honesty to every part he played. But acting was just one part of his story. As president of the Karlovy Vary International Film Festival, he brought it back to life, transforming it into one of Europe's top cinematic events. Under his leadership, global stars arrived, local talent shined, and Czech film found a powerful voice on the world stage. Bartoska didn't just act in dramatic roles. He lived by deep values. He stood with artists, supported freedom during the Velvet Revolution, and gave his voice to civic change. His sense of duty to his country never wavered. Off-screen, he was known for his wit, warmth, and unwavering friendship. He worked closely with younger actors, mentoring the next generation while always staying humble. Industry colleagues often described him as the calm in the room, the person who made everything feel possible. He shared his life with his wife Andrea for nearly 5 decades, building a loving home together with their 2 children. While he led a life in the spotlight, his heart belonged to his family. Jiri Bartoska received many honors, including the Medal for Merit, yet he remained grounded in one simple goal: telling stories that mattered. His voice, his kindness, and his passion will echo for years to come. As the curtain falls on a monumental career, we remember a man who didn't just represent Czech film, he elevated it. Tributes to Jiri Bartoska. Number 6. He played the game the right way, with courage, hustle, and heart. That's how a former teammate once described Chet the Jet Lemon, and it couldn't be more true. Chet Lemon, one of baseball's most respected outfielders and a beloved figure in the sport, has passed away at 70 after a long health battle with a rare blood disorder. Known for his fearless play and infectious spirit, Lemon brought energy to every stadium he stepped into. Over a remarkable 16-year Major League career, he earned 3 All-Star selections and helped lead the Detroit Tigers to a legendary World Series victory. Whether it was diving headfirst into first base, taking countless pitches for the team, or setting a still unbroken record for outfield putouts, Lemon always left it all on the field. Before Detroit, he shined with the Chicago White Sox, becoming one of the league's most reliable hitters and outfielders. In 1979, he had one of the best seasons in baseball, hitting .318 with 44 doubles and 86 RBIs. His combination of power, patience, and defense made him a standout in both leagues. But Chet Lemon's story didn't end with his final at-bat. He returned to baseball as a mentor and coach, establishing programs that shaped the futures of many young athletes, including stars like Zach Greinke and Prince Fielder. Through summer leagues and high school championships, Lemon shared not just skills but values, discipline, and confidence. Off the field, he was a devoted husband and father, a man of faith, and a quiet example of strength. Even in the final chapter of his life, facing serious illness, Lemon stayed connected to the game and its community, making a powerful public appearance in Detroit last year alongside his family. He taught me to lead by example, to show up with purpose. Former player and mentee Marcus Lemon once shared. He was never just coaching, he was shaping lives. Chet Lemon leaves behind a legacy grounded not just in numbers, but in the way he played, the lives he touched, and the generations he inspired. Tributes to Chet Lemon. Number 5. Doing the best you can for the people. Law and order. Make sure that people's communities are safe. I did it all. Nate Holden's own words say it best. A man of action, of unwavering focus, and of deep love for his city. He dedicated his life to giving people safer streets, stronger communities, and a louder voice. He passed away peacefully at the age of 95. Leaving behind a legacy carved into Los Angeles neighborhoods, institutions, and hearts. Long before holding public office, Holden served in the U.S. Army, worked nights to finish high school, and pursued engineering while raising a family. His journey from a working-class background to an influential figure in California politics spoke volumes about his determination. During his time as a state senator, Holden helped make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a state holiday, an effort that rippled across the country. He authored laws for consumer protections, health awareness, and green space access, including the creation of Baldwin Hills Regional Park. As a longtime Los Angeles City Councilman, he was known for championing the unheard. He fought for parks and libraries in underserved areas, implemented life-saving policies like gun buyback programs, and supported safety measures like requiring toy guns to be brightly colored. Residents affectionately knew him as Stop Sign Holden for his work improving traffic safety. Insiders knew him as someone who never backed down, especially when it came to protecting working families. His fierce independence earned him praise and criticism alike, but few questioned his genuine passion. Even after retiring, he stayed active in local affairs, eager to guide and inspire the next generation. Nate Holden's life was rooted in progress. He broke barriers, held doors open for others, and never stopped asking how things could be better. His imprint is not just on street signs or buildings, it's in the values he helped shape across South Los Angeles. He is survived by his sons, Chris and Reginald, and several grandchildren. His beloved wife, Fannie Louise, passed before him. Council President Paul Krikorian shared, "If it weren't for Nate Holden, California would not have been the first state to recognize Martin Luther King Jr." Nate Holden's voice may be gone, but his impact speaks louder than ever. Tributes to Nate Holden. Number 4. Agriculture is what feeds our families and shapes our future. Few embodied that truth like Carl Crabtree. Carl, who passed away at 72 after a brief illness, leaves behind a legacy rooted in service, humility, and a lifelong dedication to the land and people of Idaho. Raised on a ranch in Cusquia, Carl understood the value of hard work and community from a young age. He spent over 4 decades working for Idaho County, helping rural youth through 4-H programs and managing resources as a weed supervisor. His love for agriculture wasn't just a career, it was who he was. Colleagues respected Carl not only for his knowledge but also for his calm demeanor and willingness to listen. Whether managing a youth program or leading the Idaho Cattle Association, Carl approached each role with purpose and heart. He helped shape livestock policy statewide and mentored the next generation of ranchers and agricultural leaders. In 2016, Carl stepped into public office, beginning 6 years of service in the Idaho Senate. He brought his common-sense perspective to the Capitol, advocating for education, transportation, and the rural communities he knew so well. His efforts weren't driven by party or politics, they were driven by people. Even during his time in the Senate, Carl never stepped away from the ranch. Alongside his wife Carolyn, he continued raising registered beef cattle and running their small livestock trucking business. He stayed grounded, always connected to the land and the lifestyle he cherished. A fellow senator once described him as steady, fair, and refreshingly sincere. That quiet strength touched many across the state. He didn't seek the spotlight. His work simply spoke for itself. Carl's passion for agriculture, dedication to public service, and love for Idaho shaped a life of impact. Though he's gone, his values live on in the countless lives he influenced. At the Capitol, in the classroom, on the ranch, and around the dinner table, he is survived by Carolyn, his family, and a grateful community who will miss his wisdom and warmth. Tributes to Carl Crabtree. Number 3. It is not just what he did, but how he did it, with kindness, courage, and clarity. Those words from a former colleague echo the legacy of Terrence Ethetherton, a man whose pursuit of justice changed lives far beyond the courtroom. Terrence Ethetherton passed away peacefully at the age of 73. His presence in the legal world was transformative. He was the first openly gay Master of the Rolls, the second highest judicial role in England and Wales, and a determined champion for equality and inclusion. Born in London, he studied at Corpus Christi College, Cambridge, and was called to the bar in the 1970s. His work in property law soon earned him the title of Queen's Counsel. He rose through the ranks with brilliance and grace, becoming a High Court judge, Chancellor of the High Court, and later Lord Justice of Appeal. In each role, Ethetherton brought sharp intellect and empathy. He led the Law Commission and helped shape policies that expanded access to justice. His life peerage in the House of Lords was a symbol of his deep commitment to public service. But what set him apart was his humanity. Known for mentoring younger peers and standing firm during challenging times, he broke barriers not just for himself but for others. At a time when being openly gay seemed a hurdle in judicial appointments, he refused to hide who he was. His decades-long relationship with Andrew Stone, whom he married in 2010, quietly became a beacon of progress and hope within the legal world. Lady Chief Justice Baroness Carr described him as an inspiring judge and leader, and a true friend to so many of us. That friendship and leadership touched countless lives. Terrence Ethetherton didn't just interpret the law, he helped shape a justice system that looked more like the world it served, diverse, inclusive, and fair. His legacy stands in law books, in policy, and in hearts. He is survived by his beloved husband, Andrew. Though the legal world mourns, it also celebrates his life, a life lived with purpose, conviction, and care. Tributes to Terrence Ethetherton. Number 2, art is not just something you do, it's something you live. Sho Sato lived these words every day, imbuing everything he touched with depth, beauty, and purpose. He passed away peacefully at the age of 90, leaving behind a legacy that spans continents and generations. A master of Japanese traditional arts and a pioneer in cross-cultural theater, Sato taught the world how to see with new eyes. Born in Tokyo, he began his lifelong journey with disciplines like ikebana, sumi-e, tea ceremony, and calligraphy. When he later moved to the United States, he brought a deep respect for Japanese cultural traditions, translating them for Western audiences in profound ways. At the University of Illinois, Sato founded Japan House, a space that became a sanctuary for learning, reflection, and cross-cultural understanding. As a professor and artist in residence, he introduced thousands to Zen aesthetics and Japanese artistry, always teaching with humility and deep care. Internationally acclaimed for his kabuki adaptations of Western classics, Sato reimagined plays like Macbeth, Medea, and Faust through the lens of Japanese theater. These bold productions gained global recognition and bridged time, culture, and language. Critics hailed their visual beauty and emotional depth. His groundbreaking Illinois Kabuki Theater became the first major U.S. company to tour Japan with Kabuki Theater, a historic milestone in performing arts. His creative work earned prestigious awards on multiple continents and reflected his lifelong dedication to bringing worlds together. Sato was also a prolific author, writing influential books on Japanese calligraphy, painting, and tea ceremony. His art was showcased in galleries around the world, each piece a quiet meditation in brushstroke and form. In 2004, the Emperor of Japan honored him with the Order of the Sacred Treasure, recognizing his vital role in promoting Japanese culture globally. Colleagues and students alike admired Sato's wisdom, discipline, and sincere spirit, forever referring to him with respect as sensei. His passing is felt deeply within the global arts and education communities. As one former student shared, he didn't just teach us art, He taught us to see and to feel. Sho Sato leaves behind a lasting legacy of art, compassion, and cultural connection. Tributes to Sho Sato. What's trending on the internet? News 1. If you're a fan of classic television, you might remember the magic behind Baywatch. And today, we're pausing to honor Paul Nichols, the beloved publicist who helped bring those sandy shores to millions of homes. Paul Nichols has passed away at the age of 77, just days after the loss of his cherished wife, Linda. Originally from Delaware and a graduate of Penn State, Paul began his career as a DJ before making his mark in television, most notably with The Mike Douglas Show, and eventually playing a key role in keeping Baywatch on the air through its most iconic years. He worked closely with stars like Pamela Anderson and Yasmin Bleeth, helping the show become a worldwide hit and making sure audiences everywhere could enjoy its stories and sun-drenched fun. Paul's impact was felt well beyond Hollywood. After retiring, he and Linda moved to Texas to be closer to family, sharing their warmth with everyone around them. Paul Nichols will be remembered for his infectious enthusiasm, his dedication to television history, and the love he shared with his wife and family. His legacy lives on in every wave that Baywatch inspired and in the hearts of all who knew him. News 2. We've lost a talented voice in television comedy. Steve Papoon, co-creator of The Wild Thornberrys and writer for The Simpsons, passed away on May 3, 2025, just days before his 69th birthday. Throughout his impressive career, Papoon brought laughter to millions through his work on beloved shows including ALF, Get a Life, and Roseanne. Papoon's creative talents earned him recognition from his peers, including an Emmy Award in 1991 for his contribution to The Simpsons. As one of the minds behind The Wild Thornberrys, he helped craft the adventures of Eliza Thornberry and her wildlife documentary-making family, creating a show that entertained and educated children about wildlife conservation from 1998 to 2004. Beyond his writing credits, Papoon also served as a producer on several shows, including Roseanne, Cleghorn, and The PJs, demonstrating his versatility in television production. His legacy lives on through the characters and stories he helped create, which continue to entertain new generations through streaming and reruns. Fans of animation and comedy will remember Steve Papoon for his significant contributions to the golden age of television comedy and his ability to craft memorable, heartfelt stories that resonated with audiences of all ages. News 3. In a touching revelation about a decades-old friendship between comedy legends, 92-year-old Carol Burnett recently shared a poignant memory about Lucille Ball. During her upcoming special, The Carol Burnett Show, Mother of All Marathons, Burnett recalls how Ball, who was 22 years her senior, became a mentor and dear friend after seeing her Broadway debut in Once Upon a Mattress. The woman who influenced me probably the most was Lucille Ball, Burnett explains in the special. Their friendship blossomed with Ball offering her support, saying, "Kid, whenever you need me, give me a call." What makes this story particularly moving is the bittersweet coincidence that occurred on April 26, 1989. On that day, Burnett's 56th birthday, Lucille Ball passed away at age 77 from a ruptured abdominal aorta. Yet even in her passing, Ball's thoughtfulness shone through. "I got up, turned on the television set, it was my birthday, and she had died that morning," Burnett recalls. "And that afternoon I got the flowers that said, 'Happy birthday, kid.'" This final gesture perfectly encapsulates their special bond. Ball had faithfully sent Burnett birthday flowers every year, and even in death, her last gift arrived right on time, a touching reminder of their enduring friendship. Fans can watch Burnett share more memories in The Carol Burnett Show, Mother of All Marathons, airing May 10th and 11 on Shout TV, a fitting tribute just after Mother's Day to a woman whose comedy has brought joy to generations of Americans. News 4. Fans of 72-year-old actor David Hasselhoff expressed concern after recent photos emerged showing the Baywatch star being pushed in a wheelchair at Los Angeles International Airport. The images, taken as Hasselhoff and his wife Haley Roberts returned from a vacation in Cancun, quickly sparked speculation about his health. Hasselhoff has since addressed these concerns, explaining that the wheelchair was necessary because he's scheduled for knee replacement surgery next week. Despite needing assistance, the actor appeared to be in good spirits during his airport appearance, even flashing a smile to onlookers. This health challenge comes during an already difficult time for Hasselhoff, who is still grieving the loss of his ex-wife Pamela Bach. The 61-year-old mother of his two daughters tragically took her own life in March of this year. Following her passing, Hasselhoff released a heartfelt statement expressing his family's deep sadness and requesting privacy during their time of grief. Throughout his decades-long career, Hasselhoff has remained a beloved pop culture icon, known for his starring roles in hit series like Knight Rider and Baywatch. His fans around the world continue to show their support and well wishes as he prepares for his upcoming knee surgery and continues to bring joy to audiences worldwide with his enduring charm and talent. Number 1. Her stories didn't just speak, they listened. Tracy Sorensen shared a voice for those often unheard. Through pages, film, and thread, she stitched together tales of connection, care, and courage. A cherished writer, maker, and thinker, she leaves behind a body of work that reimagined how we tell stories, and why we tell them. She passed away peacefully at the age of 60 after a long and brave journey with cancer. Raised on the north coast of Western Australia, Tracy's early years in Carnarvon shaped her deep empathy for people, places, and the environment. Later settling in Bathurst, she taught at Charles Sturt University, where she supported countless students with warmth and curiosity. Her breakout novel, The Lucky Gala, brought fresh magic to Australian fiction. Told from the perspective of a pet gala, it earned critical acclaim and multiple award recognitions. But it was also a gentle call to rethink how we see the world, through the eyes of all living things. Her second novel, The Vitals, was even more personal. With raw honesty and bold imagination, she gave voice to her own organs as they battled cancer. It was storytelling like no other, deeply human, quietly revolutionary. Tracy's creative vision extended well beyond the page. She embraced craftivism, using crochet as a way to engage with climate change and embodiment. She even crocheted her own internal organs, art that was both heartfelt and profound. Her research and writing transformed conversations around health, climate, and identity. She showed us that stories can heal, connect, and prompt change. In her words and actions, Tracy offered generosity, wit, and inspiration. Those who had the chance to work with her often speak of her as a gentle force, always listening, always encouraging. Close friend and fellow author said simply, "Tracy made you feel seen." She had that gift. Her loss is deeply felt in Australian literature, universities, art circles, and living rooms across the nation. She is survived by her loving family, students, friends, and countless readers moved by her words. Her books remain. Her spirit lingers in every crocheted stitch, every voice she helped lift, and every imagination she touched. Tributes to Tracy Sorensen. He had the sweetest of hearts. These simple words from his bandmates capture the essence of Nathan Jerde, an extraordinary drummer, a gifted artist, and a cherished friend whose presence lit up every room. Nathan passed away at the age of 45,